In Lecture 5, we're going to discuss a very important aspect when it comes to sprinting, and that is acceleration. The scientific definition of acceleration is the ability to change the speed of an object. So since we are talking about sprinting or track and field, the definition of acceleration would be the ability to transition your body from being motionless to it moving rapidly over a short period of time. Sprint races have 3 phases. Acceleration is the first phase of all sprint races. Max velocity is the second phase, which I'll discuss more in later lectures. And then the third phase is maintaining that speed through the finish line. Acceleration is very important when it comes to sprinting. The better your athletes can accelerate, the faster they're going to run. Acceleration has to be taught. So teaching your athletes the proper acceleration mechanics and/or strategies will lead to them running faster. So in this lecture, I'm going to talk about a few of those things that you could do with your athletes to make them better at accelerating so that they run faster in their races. Now, based on your athlete's experience, power, and patience, acceleration is probably going to last between 10 and 30 meters. When you have athletes that are more patient, more powerful, they'll be able to hold their drive phase or their acceleration phase a little longer. Take someone like Asafa Powell, very explosive man. He typically holds his drive phase from anywhere between 25 to 35 meters before he hits maximum velocity. Take another experienced runner like Carmelita Jeter, who accelerates for about 25 to 30 meters before she also hits maximum velocity. Now, younger athletes, some of the more experienced high school athletes will probably hold their drive phase from anywhere between 10 and about 15 to 20 meters, depending on their strength. So teaching acceleration correctly is very important, and the more that it's taught, the better your athletes are going to accelerate. The stronger they become, the longer they can hold it, the faster they're going to run. Now, the first thing to discuss are the arms during acceleration. Now, if you remember what we've been talking about in the last lectures, range of motion is extremely important. So the same thing goes for acceleration. The arms need to get separation from the body just as it does at any other point during the race. The arms allow the legs or the feet to put force into the track, which is going to propel you forward. So separation from your arms is very important. Get that range of motion. Now, when you're dealing with younger athletes, never use the cue quick arms. You don't want to use that cue with the younger athletes because what they're going to probably do is try to pump their arms faster or quicker as opposed to getting the full range of motion in their arms, which is going to allow them to put force back into the track. So make sure that you tell them to get the full range of motion. Use cues like swing, drive, pump, but never quick. Now, the head during acceleration phase is very similar to the same position that it's in when you're in maximum velocity. So if you were to pause a picture of a person that's accelerating, their head's going to be in the same position. If they were erected, their eyes would still be sea level. The head is also going to be in a straight line with the entire body. So the cue that I use for my athletes is head down, chin down. If your athletes keep their chin down as long as they possibly can, then they will be able to stay in their acceleration phase as long as they possibly can. If you pay attention to the kid in the white jersey, you will see that his chin is not down. So typically, if an athlete's chin is up in their acceleration phase, chances are their body's going to pop up too early and they're going to hit top speed way too early. So make sure that your athlete keeps their chin down in that acceleration phase as long as possible. Now to the body or posture or angle of your body during acceleration. Ideally, this may take longer depending on the strength of your kids. But ideally, you want them to be around 45 degrees when they're in their acceleration phase. Their body should be in a straight line from head to foot, and there should be no arch in their backs. Now this portion is going to come with a lot of repetition, so be patient. And finally, we're going to talk about what the legs and the feet execute during acceleration. First, the foot must be dorsiflexed. When your foot is dorsiflexed, it allows your leg to not extend so that you don't overstride and allow your feet to land out in front of you. During the acceleration phase, your steps are a lot smaller or shorter than they would be if you were running maximum velocity. Your athletes are still required to get full range of motion in their arms, but the steps aren't going to be as elongated as they would be if they were running maximum velocity. Because the steps are smaller or shorter, the foot's actually going to step over the shin and then return back under the hips, which is going to propel you forward. So in conclusion, acceleration is a very important part of all sprint races. It's the very first thing that the athlete does when they're in a sprint race. So teaching it is essential to the times that they want to run or that you want them to run on the track. So start teaching acceleration as soon as possible. In the next lecture, I'm going to discuss a few drills that I use to teach my athletes acceleration early on in the season. Stay tuned.